Oh.
I was just sitting on your name.
Oh.
Oh, they got them. Okay. Yeah. Sam, you want to get the name tags out of the back drawer? Awesome. Pass them out.
I'm going to get some stuff. It's definitely not.
Oh, it's a game, you have to rewrite it the computer.
Oh.
It's a guessing.
That's
It's a guessing
one.
game.
That's two.
Right there. Flip.
He just told you which one.
Oh, they should get it.
I have multiple. No, but the house is unlocked.
So just 6. So each gives
Sure.
Anytime I see that I can run.
Come on. I don't know why mine's blue.
He's the only one on this
We could go to
You know that one that helped first grade?
let's go back to 100.
Oh, wow. We're not gonna do stuff. That's like it's all
It's just one building.
Right.
Right.
What?
Morning. You want to do it? Okay. Awesome. You're fine. Can you stand up on the board?
No, I guess it's you.
Some bottom, please. You guys can stick around for the workshop afterwards. Hopefully we can stay there for a while. That's the problem with sports. We gotta leave before, why don't do the awards at 4?
I usually do, yeah.
Yeah, then we'll be in the school day.
Okay. Yeah, the guy that was planning that wanted to go until like 7 or 8 at night and be talking about, we're like, they aren't gonna stay for that.
Good morning.
Smith wants to steal the party.
Not today. Oh, we have guest speaker today, that's why.
Okay.
Thank you.
but he's not doing it. He hasn't come in for any practices, so. I'll put his name. You wanna do the green hand knowledge test too, Kyle? Since you guys are gonna be there, you might as well do it.
I don't know. You got it though.
John, you wanna do the green hand knowledge test since you're there anyway? Okay.
Good experience, might as well do it.
Zach?
Down.
No? Caleb? Do the green hand knowledge? Who else is in the first class? Isn't it? Daphne maybe? Oh, come on, tell me that, man. You're all without typing? You put your name tags up, it's a lot easier to see your names.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I'm gonna sit right where you're at, Winston. You're gonna have to find a new home today.
Oh.
Actually, did you have to move last time? No, I sat over there last time. You can scoot around back if you want, there can be three in the back. You guys in the back table, guys, go out, scoot your table back this way. This one needs to go back about 2.5 feet. Starting to attack
I have
Zach, if you could move your table, that'd be great. Move that way a little bit, from back.
All banquet on Sunday, and my mom believes. No, it's like the small town. And at the time, I was normally doing the
Jeff, you look for lunch? I'll do it.
or burritos.
We'll get burrito. And there's different corner of the center of
Or you can have a crusty burrito.
the other one. Just make sure you come ready to go. I like your coat, Grace, that's awesome. How much was that? It's not bad. They had some at National Commission that were blue like that had the F-face symbol on the back. They wanted $50 for them. It wasn't bad. I bought one of the camel ones. It's a Rob Top brand. I'm familiar with that brand. It's like a high-end ring.
I like one of those.
Rob Top, yeah. My chair, boss.
Winston's sitting next to Winston. That's Winston's chair.
That's right.
You can't sit there tomorrow.
Here, leave that chair there, I'll sit. I'll sit. You can sit in the back. Watch Prince.
Is there an iPad running?
Pulling open the
Is that what that is?
door.
I don't know what.
Winston, quit letting the heat out.
Cold.
He has a problem.
Should quit letting
Winston won't let you talk.
I don't like
Okay, let's go and get started, Zach.
gold. I don't like the heat.
Cold.
Gold. Again.
Main.
Cold.
Hold.
Man extra.
It's Zach.
Hold.
Banana hand.
Cold.
Hold.
No, it's Barbara Ann
Bobby.
by the Beatles. But you see, they say
They don't say anything, I would give them salad.
Hold.
Option one, absolute.
Must be noodles.
Main.
wait, option one. Oh, got it.
Okay, a couple reminders before we get started. If you are participating in the CDE this Friday, you need to come in today after school or tomorrow after school. If you can do both, that would be wonderful. You need to get a pre-excuse in. I have one right here. I'm going to go make copies of it this morning before the end of class. So you will have that. But too late. Sign-ups were due this morning, well, they're due yesterday, but make sure you get those filled out. And then make sure you check out when our FFA meeting is this month. I think they came up with the date. Ask one of the officers to start putting posters up if they haven't already. And the next round of CDEs is in January, so you might start looking at that to see if any of those CDEs in January is not on there. Oh yeah, it is. It's prepared meets and party pro. Prepared speaks and party pro. They changed it from March to January.
Sarah Trees says all freshmen should try to do green hand. Only one right now.
Winston, there's more in the
Job interview, meets,
There's only one.
are the ones in January.
Only one name.
That's you.
Okay, today we have a special guest to talk to you about something. I'm not going to tell you to leave the suspense going. Winston, if you would sit at a table, that would be wonderful. With your name tag. Would be good. Yep. So this is Mr. Jones. And I'm just going to turn the floor over to him.
So as you can see, I had some artwork that was to make a name tag, but you already have name tags, which is awesome. Saves us some time. So go ahead. As Tomorrow said, I am Mr. Jones. You guys basically know the drill. I'm a student teacher candidate for the University of Idaho. A little bit about me. I was a farmer down in southern Idaho and decided to become an educator. So here I am. I transferred up to University of Idaho in August of last year, and so here I am. I have my associate's degree from CSI Downtown Falls in agriculture, farmed for a year, decided to go back to school. Southern Idaho, I went to Filer, so that's basically 500 miles away. I was student teaching in Kimberly, which is a neighboring school. Kind of ironic, we were huge rivals with them, so now I'm going there. I'll be a Bulldog instead of a Wildcat for a while, but my pride will stay with Wildcats. So today we're going to be talking about some international ag, imports, exports, and get started on it. Tomorrow we'll wrap it up. So our objective today, define international trade. We will be defining imports and exports, what those are. We're going to list commodities grown here in Idaho, list commodities grown in the U.S. other than the ones grown in Idaho, and then commodities grown in other parts of the world. So, first I want to talk about who here ate breakfast this morning? By show of hands. So most of us, alright. So I want you to think about what you ate for breakfast. And on your whiteboards, with your table groups, I want you to write down some things that you ate. Talk that out.
I had toast. I had cereal. Just say sandwich. Right ham and cheese.
Okay, go ahead and wrap up those thoughts for me.
Try ham. Oh. I had one for water.
For breakfast?
Ham and cheese.
I had some water.
You like
Alright, I'm going to go around to tables and we're going to hear what you all had. So starting here with Kaylee and Daphne, what do you have?
Right ham and cheese.
Bread and eggs, okay, toast, awesome. What about you guys?
Applesauce, coffee, breakfast round, and water.
Cheese.
Okay, back here.
Pancake, waffle, cereal, sandwich, and yogurt.
Okay. Boys, up here, I'm going to ask what you had.
I had Pop-Tarts.
Okay, Pop-Tarts. What else is on there?
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Eggs, toast, ham, and cheese.
Okay, nice and coffee on there as well. Awesome.
Got granola bars, toast, yogurt,
Okay, and this last table?
Milk and air, they didn't eat breakfast.
Milk and air. Well, milk counts. Okay, so out of all of those breakfast items, are any of those local products that you could get just from around here from a local farmer? Do you think? Okay. What do you think? Eggs you can? Sure. What else? Is there any other of those products that you could get locally? Milk, probably. Okay. What about
eggs.
eggs? Yep, that's how it was mentioned.
Way to pay attention.
What about things that could come from the U.S. but not, maybe not your local farmer?
Pancake mix.
Pancake mix, sure.
Beans breakfast sandwich.
Okay. So there's some things that could come from the U.S. There's a couple specific ones that I know came from probably other countries. What are those? You guys think of it?
Pop-Tarts.
Maybe not cereal, maybe Pop-Tarts.
Waffles.
There's one that I'm thinking of.
Waffles.
What did you say?
I said waffles.
No? Okay, Mr. Morrow has a big cup of it.
Coffee.
Coffee. Coffee usually comes from other parts of the country or world because we can't really grow it here very well. Alright? So that just shows you, even for your breakfast, you're using trade to get some of your breakfast items. It's a very important part of ag. So, international trade. We just talked about that coffee comes from other parts of the world. Well, how does it get here?
Ships.
Transportation. Okay. So we pretty much buy it from somewhere else and then they ship it to us, right? So that's the process of international trade. So the international trade is the exchange of goods, usually between different countries, through imports and exports. Okay? So what does it mean to import something? Okay, bring something in. Awesome. So if we're bringing in, let's say, coffee from a different country, that's an import. What if we send something to a different country?
Export.
That's export. Awesome. You guys are good. So export to send a good to another country. So I like to use the analogy of a computer. You can import and export data. So if you import something, you're putting data onto that computer. Exporting data, it's like putting it onto a flash drive, taking it to another computer. You guys are pretty technological, savvy, I suppose, so good analogy. So, now that we've talked about breakfast foods, I want you to think more about general foods. What kind of crops are grown in Idaho? Okay, so with your table groups again, you can erase your boards. And I want you to list crops that are grown in North Idaho, such as Genesee. What are you guys known for? And then if you can think of it, list crops that are grown in the rest of Idaho. Okay? So take a few minutes, list things grown in North Idaho and South Idaho. What are we doing? Paper towels.
You haven't filled that one in like a year.
Here is
The one day.
so if you need to erase your board, I have a towel here. Yep.
Soybeans.
And then for potatoes, taters, corn.
Soybeans. S-O-Y-B-E-A-N.
How many of you have been to Southern Idaho? Most of you? Awesome. You said your football team goes down there?
Yeah, we went to have
Okay, cool. How are we doing?
lentils.
It's a pretty good list growing.
Awesome. L-E-N-T-I.
You would know.
Yeah, they probably do. So you know the one part that is like on the inside, like that thick layer?
Good?
Carrots.
Okay, you could be sure to include other agricultural products other than just crops.
Oh, carrots.
So think about maybe dairy industry, animal science industry.
We grow crayons everywhere.
Is that come from Idaho? No?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, mustard.
Meats, do any meats come from Idaho?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, how are we doing?
Onions.
Radishes.
Maybe not everyone. Maybe not.
It's just like it's lots of them.
In
Southern
You two have an awesome list.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so let's take a break here. Focus back on the front, please. Okay, I want to hear some of your North Idaho ideas. What do you guys grow up here?
Potatoes.
Potatoes in North Idaho? Really?
Wheat.
I haven't seen any. You guys grow wheat, yep.
No, never mind.
Lentils, garbanzos, beans. Okay.
Barley. Oh yeah.
Barley. You guys grow rice up here?
Wild rice.
Wild rice? Okay.
We can do pieces.
Okay, if I can have quiet, please. Thank you. So you guys are, what type of farming up here? Have you guys talked about this yet?
Dry land.
Dry land, okay. So you guys can grow,
Cows.
well, you can grow cows, yes. But we've talked about wheat crops, barley, grains, and you also grow some hay, lentils, alfalfa, yep. And I heard garbanzo, so you guys grow some beans, and Mr. Morrow mentioned wild rice. So you guys actually have quite a big variety up here. What about the rest of Idaho? What have you heard of? Potatoes, yep, we're the potato state. So obviously we grow potatoes down southern Idaho. What else?
Onions.
Onions, yeah, there's some big onion farms down there in the Treasure Valley.
Beets.
Sugar beets, yes. Sugar factories in Twin Falls and Nampa, all perfect. They don't smell that. I guess if you,
thing and they were like a something factory and we could smell it. It was just
so the sugar factories don't smell bad to me. Lewiston smells terrible to me, but some people don't think Lewiston smells bad and they say the sugar factories stink. So I guess it's just a matter of what you're used to, I don't
I
know.
can smell
Okay, so what else is there in southern Idaho? Corn, yep. Sweet corn, Silas corn, both. What do you think? Do you know the difference? Is there a difference? Do you know? So there is actually a big difference there, and I'm glad you brought that up. Sweet corn is like the corn that you can and buy to eat, and then we also grow a ton of silage corn down there to feed to the dairy cow. So there's both sides of the corn spectrum down there. What else?
Are pickles made out of cucumbers?
Pickles are made out of cucumbers.
I was there at one year.
Do we grow very many cucumbers in Idaho? Do you know?
Yes.
We grow
Just like in garden.
Okay, I'm sure we grow some. I'm not sure it's one of our biggest commodities, but we probably grow some, yes. Mustard, I believe we grow some down there, yes. What else? Any ideas?
Canola.
Canola,
Soybeans.
actually more of a North Idaho thing.
Yeah, we
Believe it
grew
or
some
not.
of that this year.
Soybeans, I heard, not so much actually. We don't grow very many of those down in Southern Idaho for some reason. We do grow dry edible beans though. So those are like your, like bean soup, if you buy those, that, so dry edibles. We grow a lot of seed beans down there. What else? Any thoughts?
Carrot seeds.
Carrot seeds, yep. We grow a lot of seed in Southern Idaho.
I don't know, the soil's pretty burly, we saw a lot of cows.
Okay, so yeah, we're getting into the other part of ag. So cows, what kind of cows did you see?
Big cows.
Dairy? Okay, so there's a lot of dairy industry down in Southern Idaho now. A lot of it coming up from California due to regulations, easier to operate in Idaho, so they come up here. You guys, I don't know if you're familiar, some of you say you've been to Southern Idaho. Do you know some of the factories that are in Southern Idaho, some of the products that we make from like the dairy industry?
Or Ida.
Okay, Ore-Ida. So ConAgra is the manufacturer for Ore-Ida, so they make like French fries and that type of stuff. Perfect. What else? There's a great big yogurt factory that just opened in Twin Falls. Nope.
What?
Greek yogurt. Think Greek.
Oh, Chobani.
Chobani opened in Twin Falls, yes. We have cheese manufacturers down.
Tillamook. Oh no, that's
No,
that's
that's
Tillamook.
So it's actually a couple that you probably never heard of, but they make brands that you do know. Okay, Kraft is made, yep, but it's made by a company called Glambia. And Glambia makes probably the most American cheese in the nation, but they rebrand it. So you can't just buy like Glambia cheese. It's usually Kraft or those other brands like Walmart, and they just package it for everybody. And then there's Jerome Cheese Company that's owned by Davisco, and they pretty much do all the other cheeses for Kraft and everybody else. And they also are really big on the whey proteins, like for working out, bodybuilders. They take the byproducts from the milk and cheese and make the whey proteins. So there's a lot of ag industry going on that you don't really think about. So any other crops that I might have overlooked? Nope? Nope. Okay. So, now the question is why? Why can you guys only grow a few up here? Why can the state grow such a variety? What's the difference?
Climate.
Climate, perfect.
Soil.
Soil quality, probably ties into it, yes. There's a big one that I'm looking for. I asked about dry farm.
Irrigation.
Okay, irrigation. Irrigation makes a huge difference. And down in Southern Idaho, we have the Snake River rolling through. And there's dams on the Snake River. It makes it possible for us to get water to our crops, so we can grow crops that need more water. So we have a little bit longer growing season. Water comes on in about May, and it runs through the end of September usually. So they have a long time to grow crops, whereas up here we rely on the rain, and so you grow the grains and the lentils and things that can survive on pretty low water. Right? Okay? So we've mentioned the weather, the climate, water availability. One thing we didn't talk about, geographic features. What would those be?
Mountainous.
Hills, yeah, slope. So you guys up here, okay, if you've been to Southern Idaho, does it look like North Idaho?
No.
It's very flat, okay? Do you think that makes a difference on, like, what you grow?
They have sandy. They have more sandy soil.
Definitely can. The water runoff would be an issue. The harvesting would actually be an issue too. You guys up here run hillside combines. I'd never seen one until I came to college. Never even heard of one. Like, well, I'd heard of one, never seen one. Very, very different machinery required, different everything. So the geographic features make a huge difference. Also, along with geographic features would be elevation. So you guys know what elevation is? So that's your height above sea level. And so the higher you are, the colder you are sometimes. And so really high places maybe can't grow as many crops as lower places. And lower places would be warmer, so like the coasts, they could grow different things. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Same groups, pass that right around, erase. U.S. crops. Things that we didn't mention in the Idaho crops. And this list should be pretty huge. There's a lot of things grown in the U.S. You can also think of the meats, anything ag, anything. Definitely be creative. You can think of it, it's probably yeah.
You can know it.
Couldn't know that. Okay guys, I can have your attention for one more second. You might want to take notes on what we're talking about, just so you know it for the future. It'll be very helpful. It will definitely come in handy tomorrow as well.
Not sheep, wheat.
So anything ag,
Coconuts. Hey, vine grapes. Wine grapes.
let's do it. I see some good things on there.
Coconuts.
Are you sure? Well,
There's some in Florida.
think it
They're
out.
everywhere.
How are you doing?
Pears.
Yes?
Bananas.
Apples.
Okay, there's one we haven't talked about yet.
What?
Tobacco.
Jeffrey lives in Cougars.
Okay, about time to have these.
Yes.
Tobacco's aggravating.
Yeah. It's 420.
School's
School's out, it's time for
Did you say bananas?
Trees.
Colorado?
That's one of the
No.
I already said pears.
I like the creativity here.
Palm wanders. Yeah, oranges. California is the orange state.
What else do you do?
Oranges. Oranges. Like what oranges? I already said that. There's orange trees. Oranges. Good. Kiwi. Strawberry. Kiwi.
Are you doing?
KFC.
Alright, go ahead and wrap up your thoughts, and then we'll share some of those. Alright, I'm going to start here with Kaylee and Daphne again. What did you guys come up with? So they have a huge list. Let's hear what they have.
Fish, oranges, citrus, potatoes, watermelons, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, grapes, elderberries, coconut, banana, mint, tomatoes, sugar, strawberries, aloe vera, plums, apricot, apricots, almonds, pecans, walnuts, cherries, and huckleberries.
Wow, you came up with a lot. There's a couple of those that I heard that I actually know come from Idaho. Fish, there's a big trout farm down in Buell, Idaho. Huckleberries can come from Idaho, yep. There's one more. Sugar, we talked about the sugar factories. There might even be a mint farm in Idaho that I've heard of, I believe. Alright, Peyton, Brooklyn, Mr. Morrow, what did you have? New or whole list?
Apples, carrot, orange,
Oh, corn.
peaches, plums, grapes, lemons,
Let's focus, please.
kumquats, cherries, strawberries, raspberries, huckleberries, blueberries, peanuts, walnuts, and pecans.
Wow, lots of fruits and nuts being mentioned now. Okay, this back table.
Potatoes, cows, berries, corn, chicken, sheep, wheat, watermelon, carrots, grapes, peaches, pears, apples, trees, grapefruit, oranges, and strawberry.
Hey, awesome list. Over here.
Cotton, tobacco, beef, Winston want to put KFC, turkey farm, and strawberry.
That's a big franchise.
So I heard a lot of animals there, the chicken, the beef, the turkeys. Lots of those are very much agricultural, and we do produce them in the United States. Grace, you're still working on your list, let's hear what you have. Yeah, just read them all.
Wine, oranges, apples, coconuts, nuts, pineapples, corn, soda, chicken, rice, watermelon, beef, sugar, berries, fruits, and nuts.
Awesome. Tobacco, yep, it was mentioned. Alright, last table up here.
We got coconuts, we got some coffee, pineapples, bananas, mangoes, starfruit, peaches, plantains, and lots of and avocados.
Awesome. Alright, so I heard a lot of fruits this time. Where would the fruits come from? Warmer climates such as Florida,
California,
Hawaii maybe, for like coconuts and pineapples.
New Mexico,
What else?
Louisiana, Texas.
I'm not sure if I heard oranges mentioned.
California.
Okay,
We had oranges.
California and Florida are huge orange producers. Definitely want to be writing down some of these places so that you remember. Okay, what would come from Texas?
Cactus, steers.
Cactus, maybe. Cattle is a huge industry down there.
Only two things come out of
Starfruit? Really? Not really? Okay, awesome. Alright, focus please. Let's talk about the nuts and some of those beans. Where would they come from? Not coconuts. I'm talking peanuts, almonds, some of those types of nuts. I definitely heard some of them mentioned. Any ideas where they come from? Georgia, okay. Some of those southern states. Peanuts are growing a lot in the
Virginia has
Midwest.
their own peanut packing company.
Did not know that.
Virginia
Awesome.
peanut something, I don't know.
See, something I didn't know. Awesome.
I'm trying to remember.
So there's lots of different variety around the U.S. Okay? What commodities do we export to other countries? What do you think other countries would want from
You
us?
need in shell peanuts.
Yes?
Our lentils and stuff.
Peas, lentils, sure. Probably. Any thoughts at all? Any thoughts? So I'll give you a little hint. There's a huge, what? Yep. Barley? Yep. Okay, so my hint was gonna be right down the road, there's a big granary. P&W. What do they do?
Northwest.
Okay, they grow crops.
They ship.
They provide the crops from the local farmers, and then they import and export. Okay, they export it to everywhere. Like, you wouldn't believe where some of this stuff goes. I heard from my shop teacher just the other day that when I was talking about this, that when he was working with P&W, that some of the lentils were going to places like Myanmar. And he's going, where's Myanmar? I've never even heard of Myanmar. So you can't believe where some of the local stuff growing right here in Tennessee goes. It's crazy.
Some of our wheat goes to Taiwan.
Taiwan,
Really?
China.
Yep.
Our wheat goes to
Some
Taiwan.
of the hay goes to Korea.
Okay, there's some hay that goes to like Korea, China, some of those countries as well. What about like our food crops with nuts and beans?
Garbage,
Fruits.
like Salvia. Yeah, it's Salvia.
Yeah,
Our garbage goes to
Yeah. Lots and lots of things that you don't really think about that we send to other parts of the world just because we can grow them at a pretty low price, fair price for the world. Okay? So I was going to have a list up here, but well, I might still be able to do that actually. Nope. Okay, so we're just going to talk about this a little bit more. What commodities, where it would go, and why. So we talked about like the peas going into hummus, and where would they go?
To a solvent factory.
Okay, to a solder factory, and then they go like anywhere that wanted hummus. So like a retailer store. Okay. What else?
You can go to a Kirkland factory because they have their own brand.
Let's say oranges. Where would an orange go from Florida?
Florida's
Tropicana fruit juice,
natural
baby. What about like whole oranges? Do people eat whole oranges?
No, you
Other
have a
parts of the world?
Safeway distributor center than we got it here.
Okay, so we go to here. Would it go to other parts of the world, do you think?
Yeah.
Do they grow oranges in other parts of the world? They do? So would they want ours?
Yes.
Probably, if they didn't have enough, maybe. And we would want some of theirs if we didn't have enough. Okay? So this goes back to some of those trade problems that we were talking about. Weather, climate. We talked about the South a little bit, Texas. What have they been having lately? Drought, okay. Would the drought make us export more or import more? Import more, why? We can't grow as many crops because there's not enough water. So we're importing a few more things. Awesome, awesome work. Okay, this chart shows some of our Idaho exports. And where, well, it shows where our exports go. So I don't know how well the colors are showing up. This dark blue is Canada. The lighter blue, let's see here. I gotta go back so I can see. Mexico is a huge one. Korea, China. I mentioned China. Japan, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia. You guys even know where all of these countries are?
Yes.
You do?
Where's the 27%?
Not
The 27%?
Canadian.
Light blue.
I believe the 27% is Japan. If the color, if I'm seeing the color right.
Oh, it was
I feel like
Or other.
Test.
Might be other. So the other countries are just a conglomeration of countries thrown together. Now, for the Idaho commodities, we're going to look at U.S. agriculture exports. So this chart shows everything that we talked about. Grains, feeds, oilseeds, and oilseed products. What would those be? Vegetable oil, canola oil. You mentioned that we grow canola in North Idaho.
Yes.
Cotton, tobacco, seeds is shown in gray, quite a few of those. Livestock products, horticultural products, what would those be? We didn't really talk about horticultural products. What's a huge industry in North Idaho that we didn't really talk about? Any thoughts? Think trees.
Lumber.
Forestry. Okay, so you see all these log trucks running up and down the road. And I talked a little bit about the stink down in Lewiston. Do you know what causes that?
The paper mill.
The paper mill.
When they're
Okay.
processing it.
So that's a
making the
forest
pulp.
product. That's actually an ag product. What else? What else?
halfway, but.
Yeah, we could send live trees to countries that can't grow them themselves, little seedlings, perfect. Plants, such as live poinsettias or those plants, we import, we export. What else is a horticultural product? Any thoughts? The forestry industry is huge, definitely agricultural. You can send lumber to different parts of the world for sure. Sugar and tropical products shown up here. Very cool. So this shows from 2000 until 2014. This year's data hasn't come in yet, of course, because this year's not over yet. What are some trends that you see for our exports to different countries? Just looking at that graph. Okay. Don't really focus on the grain. Look at the size of each of those bars. So focus on the grains, for example, the purple. So from here, the purple bar is that big. From here, the purple bar is that big. What is that?
08, I had the best.
Okay. So 08, we had a lot of exports, kind of dropped down. 14, are we going up? Are we going down? Kind of staying the same.
We went up again in like.
We don't have too many
2011,
tropical
then
products,
back
do
down
we?
in 2012 now.
Okay. So we're kind of,
Everybody find it.
I would call that pretty much leveled off on our grain exports right now. Oil seeds, canola was mentioned. It's started out pretty low. Quite a few canola, other oil seed products being exported right now. Cotton, what happened to cotton? It's just all over the place.
The biggest year is 2011.
Well, maybe. Are all these boxes about the same size though?
Except for 2011. 2011 was pretty big.
Okay. Just focus on the gray box. Ignore the rest.
No, that's what I mean. 2011 is pretty big gray box.
11, pretty big gray box. Yep. Awesome. There, it hasn't changed a whole lot. The livestock products started out fairly short, got fairly long. Our livestock going up, down, up. Okay. Do we have any livestock growers in the classroom? Anybody like a rancher? Familiar with ranching at all? Kind of. Okay. Do you know what happened with cattle prices recently? Like last couple of years?
They've gone up.
Okay, so they were really high for a long time, like 2-3 years ago. Now they're kind of starting to drop. Has that affected how much we export? Doesn't really look like it yet, but we haven't got the numbers for 15 yet. So it very well could increase because our prices are dropping a little bit. Horticultural products, such as the plants, the trees, the things we talked about. Has that changed much? Not much. Sugar, it's a pretty small portion. We don't grow a lot of sugar.
Not really. Pineapple one.
Okay, so let's talk about
I don't think it's other
sugar.
fruits we grow.
I just had a thought. Sugar comes from 2 different types of plants. Have you talked about this yet? What do we grow in Southern Idaho that has sugar in it?
Sugar beets.
Sugar beets, okay. Other parts of the country and other parts of the world grows cane sugar, okay. Sugar beets and sugar cane differ in some ways. Do any of your parents bake very much? Okay. Molasses, you're gonna like a molasses cookie? Okay. Sugar cane gives off the molasses. Sugar beets gives off some molasses, but not as much. And it's actually not as high of a product. And some of the beet pulp, okay, is used to feed cattle. So we use every part of the plant, and we actually export some of that beet pulp as cattle feed. It's amazing. Okay? So, I want you to take out a piece of paper, please. Erase your boards for me, please.
Personal paper.
Yes, every person needs a piece of paper, please.
I will make this.
We're going to do a quick review here, and then we're going to start on tomorrow's project, which is awesome, because tomorrow's project is going to take us a little while. Alright, does everybody have a piece of paper and a pencil out? Go ahead and write your name on top of that paper. And I want you to explain to me in your own words what international trade means. So that's going to be number 1 on your paper. What does international trade mean? What is it? I'd like it a full sentence. Doesn't have to be, huge. International trade. Those are really weird looking question marks, I just realized. Oh well. Alright, when you're finished with that one, what is an import in your own words?
I thought it was a play in the dollar sign.
I don't know. PowerPoint does some weird things. Didn't look like that on 2016 PowerPoint, so apparently the older version is messing with me. Okay, we finished with number 2. How are we doing? Still on number 2? Okay. Questions are up there if you get finished a little bit early with number 2. What is an export? So use your own words. What is an export? You can say why we have exports. Just make sure that I can understand what an export is. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Yes?
Nice tie.
Thank you. Did you see his little Idaho Brambles on?
I saw.
Pretty sweet. Question? Okay. Last one, I want you to list at least 3 things that affect where commodities are produced in different parts of Idaho, the country, or the world. Okay? So 3 things for me.
What affects it?
Yep, what would affect that? Like we talked about. So why can fruit be grown in some parts of the country and not here? Or why can potatoes be grown here and maybe not in other parts of the world? Why would potatoes not be grown in North Idaho? Just things like that, okay? Alrighty, how we doing? Everybody about finished with number 4? Okay, if you could pass those when you finish into the center and I'll collect them. And then we're going on tomorrow's project. That's alright. Okay, so while I collect these, quiet please. What is international trade? Somebody tell me what they wrote for what is international trade. Thank you. Any volunteers? I will call on people. Volunteers going once?
Right there.
Okay.
When people trade, when the trade happens like all around the world.
Okay, perfect. All around the world. International means between countries, correct? Awesome. Did everybody get that one right? Back table, focus please. Okay. What is an import? Let's go with Zach. What's an import?
Oh, an import would be bringing in products from other countries.
Bringing in products from other countries. Perfect. Okay. Exports. Let's go with Kyle.
When goods are brought out of the country to go to a different country.
Okay, so we send our goods elsewhere. What affects where commodities are grown around the world, Idaho, the country? Climate. Okay.
Irrigation.
Droughts, irrigation, freezing, wars, good.
Type of soil.
Type of soil, perfect. Excellent answers. All right, now we're going to get going on tomorrow's assignment. I am going to have you guys do a little bit of research on a commodity. Okay, so I'm going to have you bring your computers tomorrow to class. For the remainder of this class, you're going to work in your table groups. All right. So you're going to work in your table groups. You're going to think of a commodity that you want to research, and I want a reason why you want to research that commodity. Okay. So it could be any commodity from the world, something that you just heard of and don't know what it is. It could be something that you're very familiar with. If you grow wheat, you can research wheat.
We're doing wheat because I grow it.
So we're going to think about what you want to research, why you want to research it. You're going to write that out for me. And that will be turned into me so that I know what we're going to be researching, alright? Awesome reasons why you want to research it. Don't just say, well, I want to research it because. I want to know why you're interested in something. It could be an animal product. It could be like leather or the fur. It could be beef. It could be pork. It could be sugar. It could be anything. Let's just not do alcohol, marijuana, or tobacco. Those three off. Otherwise, free reign. Darn it.
See where their mind is.
Let's go to corn
Let's keep it school
You're
from
7 miles away from where you can do that.
when you're 21.
It's a long walk over, I'll walk.
Okay, go ahead and write those out on a piece of paper. I'm going to collect those as you leave, so that I know what we're looking at tomorrow.
You're gonna go make copies of it.
Sure. So any commodity. Beef? That'll be fine. But I want reasons why you want to research beef. List it out for me. Beef tastes like chicken. I think you're eating chicken. Okay, keep it ag, not like restaurants. What do you think?
Thank you very much.
You had some great products on your list, so.
You want to do beef?
berries.
Yes, sir. Gasoline, is that an ag product?
Hey, if it's got for ethanol.
Okay, if you want to do a fuel, I would let you do ethanol. Do you know how ethanol is made? Corn, okay. So it's made from corn. So if you want to do like gasoline, it's ethanol. I'll let you do. Okay?
Because people get hungry. McDonald's needs more pink.
You don't want these in
No.